Hey gamers, Gamespear here to share the experience of Monster Hunter World Beta. We have Max Spear, Apocalypse, and Janimal, all here to introduce you to the world of Monster Hunter and our experiences in the beta, what we thought, how we felt, and where we hope the game goes when it comes out. So firstly, my things I want to touch on is kind of just playing with friends. The beta was a little weird. If you wanted to play with your friends, you had to put a code in. And that was rough. That was rough for me. That was rough to figure out at first because we were all jumbled, staring at a screen. What in the heck were we doing?
Have you ever had somebody read you text over the phone and you're like, wait, was that a J or a K? Was that an M or an N? Yeah, that was what we dealt with.
Yeah. Well, and it was a lot of capital and lowercase and then capital this. And when you're typing it in on the PlayStation, it's a little obnoxious because it's not a keyboard. The nice thing is the developers have said that will not be there. All of the quests, be that multiplayer or single player, are seamless. They're streamlined. When you complete one in either or, it works for both. You have squads of up to 50 people. You join a squad, and then you can join any of those players via drop-in and drop-out co-op. So you can play all the story, you can do all the things you want to do, and you can choose to join your friends or not. You can go it solo. That's really up to you. And the freedom to do that is what they were going for. And it wasn't in the beta. And that was rough. That was really rough for me. I'm going to be honest. So, General, you want to talk about weapons, and I know the weapons were your thing. I thought a lot of the weapons were cool. Some were clunky, some weren't. What are your thoughts?
So it's definitely my favorite part of playing the new game. I feel like it's something that is different than many of the other games that I've played. They did have some bow and arrow type weapons. They had sword and shield, axe and shield, jousting pole kind of thing.
Why were you doing that? Why do we not have a camera right now? You don't joust like that. For those of you listening, her jousting looks familiar to a male satisfaction tool.
Anyway. But the weapon play was actually pretty fun. Learning to use the different weapons and what works best for everyone's different play styles and stuff. Where I like to stand back a little bit, so the longer range weapons worked better for me rather than being right up under the monster's belly getting stepped on and stuff while I'm trying to swing this massive battle axe. And those are a lot more clunky, so you move so much more slowly. You can't move out of the way of the monster while it's stepping on you very, very quickly. So, there's just some things like that. So I'm really looking forward to when the full game comes out, finding out what else they have to offer and what you can do to upgrade and all that kind of stuff, because that's something that we didn't really get to see, but it seemed like there was going to be a lot of that type of thing where you can upgrade the different weapons to play your game style. So,
and a lot of the problem that we ran into with the weapons was by the end of it, by the time we got to the final thing, we were all ranged. We got so sick and tired of trying to drive around with these gigantic weapons, swinging them, and
gigantic weapons.
Well, in the Jagras, the great Jagras, when he would jump across the map, and you'd be swinging, and he'd fly across the map. Now you got to go run over there, and you barely get your sword out to swing again, and he's now jumping across somewhere else.
The biggest thing that had me raging, if we had recorded the stream, was he would knock me down. And I would lay in the water, dazed and confused, like some big monster just whacked me. Well, he did. But by the time I could stand back up, and I'm shaking the joystick because it says to recover from stun and everything like that, I'm shaking the joystick, and the second I get up, he's already charged and ready to hit me again. And you can only roll like 6 feet, and he's got a range and everything. So I died. Well, we had a 9 death cap, and I died 5 times.
Well, the last guy, you only have a death cap of like 5? Maybe 6?
It was 5 because there were 4 of us in the fire team, and I died twice the last time we did it. So,
yeah, that's a hard thing to do. I mean, so the weapons, I hope that there's speed boosts. I hope that there's really an option to make it your own customization, because I know that a lot of the talk in the world of Monster Hunter is the fact that you can take a weapon and make it your own, and really make it to your playstyle. So.
Hearing about that, what I hope is there's some kind of leveling or increasing of the weapon. I hope, and I'd be fine if it was, but my preference would be, oh yeah, I like this gun, I want to try to make it as good as I can as possible. And yes, there may be another weapon or like ranged gun or something of that style that I move to because it has a better cap. But I like those kind of RPGs and MMO, like this world kind of thing that's going to where you level up this gun, then you find something, think Diablo. It's like, oh, it can go even higher. And I still like that style of weapon or gear. What it seemed like in the beta was, okay, this gun or this sword or this whatever whip is this powerful. And if you don't like it, throw it away. So we'll just have to see with the full release where they go.
It was very generic, and that's the problem. But then again, it's also beta, so you have to live with it. A lot of betas are very generalized. The downfall also into the beta was there was no tutorial, there was no help. And I know that there's supposed to be a tutorial, but I guess that was a real problem for you, Max, is really not having that tutorial.
Yeah, with me being new to Monster Hunter, it was interesting diving in there. You've gotten me into the Monster Hunter. This was kind of your pull, everything to get the group into Monster Hunter, and I appreciate it. But never playing one before, only have watched game streams and videos on YouTube for content. Definitely dived in not knowing what button was what. I was definitely equipping items on accident when trying to swing a sword. I would unequip my sword all the time. My sword was unequipped.
We're not equipped for this battle.
Well, like you didn't know until you tried to sprint that anytime you sprint, it sheaths your sword. Like that's something that kept getting in the way when we're chasing a dragon across a swamp and everything.
Well, and it wasn't until like later on that I realized that you can dodge roll at them and keep your weapon out.
Yeah.
And it was actually quicker to do that than waste the time putting your weapon away, taking it back out to realize that they're moving again and you got to go chase it again. So
I mean, lack of hand holding. I kind of expected that in a beta a little bit because they were saying the developers and Capcom are just saying this can be played by new people to the monster world or veterans. So my hope is that's true with the full release, because I'll just be watching everyone else play to try to learn how things work or taking instructions from you when I'm like, how do I do that really cool raining from the sky bombs thing you just did?
Well, it was Janimal that figured that part out. I didn't even know how to do that.
I couldn't figure out what button I pushed or what button combo I pushed. It took a little while to figure that out, and because it does have a thing that says press triangle for this, press triangle circle for this. They're not that descriptive, so like it didn't mean anything to me. Well, so I was like, I don't know which thing I pushed that made it do that other thing.
Well, in the chaos of fighting a monster, it's real hard to pay attention to those different little options that are up in that upper right hand corner of what buttons you can push.
Yeah, I got a lot of satisfaction from being able to mount on top of a monster and start like slashing and like hanging onto him and doing some kind of special damage. That was really fun. I have no idea how I did it. Like everyone was asking me, how'd you get on there? I don't know. I was under his leg and I was doing the same thing as I always do, and now I'm up here riding him. Enjoy.
Well, I guess that's the benefit of coming into a new game is, the excitement that you have about trying things out and receiving an outcome you didn't expect.
Well, I mean, I liked the atmosphere was just so cool. Like to have everything different. We ran a monster into another monster, and he was like, yo, this is my territory. Get out of here. And he starts fighting him. And then in the beta, in the video, if you see in other people's gameplay, your intermediate mission, you actually take one of the monsters to another big monster bird's nest, and that's the way he gets finished. You actually aren't meant to kill him with damage.
Right.
And that was really cool because I'm like, oh, it's environmental. It's staged. It's really cool because like, you're at first thinking, oh, this is hard. There's no health bar. I don't know how much damage I'm doing versus how long this is going to take. And we're timed. So we're like, we have a minute left. Are we even close? So do we know how many stages this guy has? So it's really interesting to know, oh, he's limping now. We've done a stage of damage. Or we cut off his tail. That's a stage. And things like that would be really, really neat to see.
Well, it was interesting, too. One thing I noticed is when, I don't remember what one we were fighting, but as it was limping, it was also bleeding. And you were able to follow the trail of blood. To where it went
too far away.
Yeah. So that was pretty cool. Which ties into graphics. The graphics of the game, in my opinion, there's a lot of games out there that are just gorgeous, and this game is gorgeous in its own way. It's not top of the line 100%, but that could have been the beta. But graphically, what they've put in it, even on a older game engine, is amazing in my opinion.
It just shows that like you don't have to have 4K 60 frames per second to have a good quality game. Like you can be using Unreal Engine 4 instead of the new Frostbite engines, and the games are better than some Frostbite engines because they rode that new hype train on the new engine and made it look good, but the environment was lacking or it's small. Like this world seems so big in just the beta, and we've seen videos of actual gameplay they did in Japan. There are these massive worlds and the guilds and the ships, and where you actually go to town and cook things and do missions and quests, and you have a bird that flies you around. That's your fast travel instead of you having to walk to missions and everything. It just seems so immersive and huge, and no loading screens. No, oh, I have to fast travel to this part of the map to get there. You can either be like, I want to forage and make a trip there, and we can all move, or you can fly there immediately. But it's not really like a loading screen, I guess you'd call it.
So that's gonna be what I liked about, and I don't know if it's gonna be like this in the multiplayer. I'm assuming not, but your companions, the palicos, the little cats that follow you.
So they're only in single player. As soon as you have a friend, they go away.
And I find it might be just a little too bad because I just like them running around. I think they're cool looking.
They're cute.
Yeah. I think that was one of your like favorite aspects of the game in a way.
Yeah, I just wish there was a pink sparkly one.
Do we know? Is there a leveling system? Like your character? Actually?
So Monster Hunter has never had a leveling system. You could walk into an area and you could find that monster that's there is going to just kick your butt.
And you have to learn from that.
Right. and so the idea is you walk into that area, you die, and you go, okay, now I know I need to get better gear. You level up your gear. It was similar to kind of, what am I trying to think of? Division. You know how Division, once you were done with them, initially you had the gear score, and your gear score is what's leveled you up. It's similar to that idea where you have gear and you level up the gear. So your armor and your weapons become more powerful with the gear that you put in it and build it. But that was kind of my general opinion of the game. Anybody else have some grand thing they want to talk about?
Pretty excited. I think it's going to be a fun game. I've got my hopes up despite my skepticism due to my trust issues because of games like Destiny 2 that I got extremely excited about like a year before it even happened and stuff like that. But I feel like this is something that's worth putting some energy into.
Yeah, I think the social aspect, I enjoy so much games and social scenarios now. Like I find that I really enjoy playing Zelda or these really good like single player games, playing Stardew Valley, that's been amazing. But I find so much more enjoyment and longevity in playing a game when it's with friends, when it's with people, when it's a community thing. Guilds in this game I'm probably really excited for because you can join up to 8 guilds at once. Mm-hmm. So the Destiny thing we ran into of people choosing, this guild's this place is a little bit more successful, so we're gonna move over there because they're doing the raid and trials and all those engrams every week, and you can't blame them. It's like, yeah, we go get your loot, that's cool. But I like that this is we can have a guild that is like friends and family. Like this is the people we know in real life, and this can be our guild. But then we can also join like a champions guild. This is a guild that goes and does raids and kills the strongest monsters together and is communicating with everything. And we can do that all concurrently, which I haven't seen in a lot of games that do groups, guilds, clubs, and stuff like that.
Well, and that's the big thing with this game. There's a social hub that you can go and you can sit around with your friends and you can arm wrestle while you're waiting for stuff. Your cat will cook you food and things like your Palico cat thing will cook you food and everything. And so in each different area has kind of waiting zones where you can go and you meet with people. And that's where you can recruit or you can be recruited. You can spend a lot of time there. They said there's a lot of things to do. There's shops and things to do there beyond going out into the world and hunting. And then you kind of combine that with going out in the world and hunting. And then you think what we did in the beta is so minuscule, even monster size. In just the previews alone that they've shown us, some of those monsters are huge, skyscraper size that we're going to try and take down. So what we're really looking at is kind of a small snippet of a much larger, more immersive, more entertaining game than what we're seeing right now.
Well, as a beta, I think they probably accomplished what they were going for, giving us just enough of a little teeny taste to want to be invested in the actual...
Here, lick this lollipop. Now spend $60 to get it.
and it was a PlayStation exclusive beta, but it was meant to get people to probably pre-order it more and everything. It wasn't one of those betas where it's like, yeah, if you pre-ordered it, you get to play this beta. It was definitely one that was meant to hook, line, and sinker somebody, then give them a know of, hey, you pre-ordered this game, here's what to expect.
Right. One of the things I think, though, why they kind of almost suck at exclusively PlayStation for the betas was because Monster Hunter, we have to think, this is the 5th or 6th Monster Hunter game that's been out. The first one being on PlayStation 2 and all the way now to PS4. The big market for Monster Hunter is in Japan. And that's the big market. And the big market system, or big console system in Japan, is PlayStation. So if you're going to get your max amount of play time and max amount of people wanting to play the game and buy the game, you got to put it on a system where the majority of people that have played Monster Hunter, own Monster Hunter, and stuff like that, where big console seller is going to be. So it's more than likely why they did that.
It is sad, but the console wars live on and everything, but I am very excited to see this on the Xbox One X enhanced.
Oh yeah, I'm sure that's going to look gorgeous. So, well, that's it from me. This is Gamespear signing off. We'd like to ask you to subscribe, give us the like, the big old fat thumbs up in the bottom of the screen, and we hope to see you on other videos.
See ya, gamers.
Peace out.